Whee! Hi, welcome to JD Sports. I'm Jarrett Hood, that's Dwight. Follow our Twitter, our Facebook, like, share, do the thing. The best producer in the biz got me some Ja Rule up here last week, so I was a fan of that. It was definitely, it's my favorite feature on a Jay-Z verse, which we discussed, and we both like Ja Rule. Found him to be an underrated rapper.
Anytime I get a chance to just throw Ja for no reason, I'm just going to do it.
I'm in on that.
These kids don't understand, man.
They really don't.
They really don't.
The hottest rapper for a little while there.
Like a year and a half.
Yeah, that's fine. No, but that's fine. He had the title, though. I mean, I'm not saying Hove didn't take it and then, you know, we can go on and on and on, but he had it.
People forget.
People forget.
They just don't know.
Dwight, this week, college sports to talk about. A little bit of Lakers. Don't think we're going to talk about Hulk Hogan's weight loss, but maybe. I heard he thinks he's fat.
That's not at all what he said.
No, I don't know. I didn't see it. Somebody was telling me about it.
Well, somebody doesn't know what I'm talking about. He thinks he's too big muscular-wise, which actually I looked at a photo. Cause the funny thing is I watched that little clip of that Saudi Arabia event. And first of all, he came out. He was the first thing that came out, and it was just like, really? No, he wasn't doing all that dumb shit. He's doing the real American shit, which is just even more hilarious. Yeah, he's out here posing, and he's actually, like, jacked, which is what he was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Like, way too jacked.
So, steroids? Jacked? No, I'm saying, like...
I don't know.
I'm not asking. I'm saying, alright.
I don't care.
All right.
Point being, his tweet was, because I follow him on Twitter, I would know, like, whoever was talking to you was... He was like, wow. He was like, yeah, I'm way too big. Like, my arms... He literally said, my arms are as big as some of these wrestlers' legs. I need to tone it down. I'm too old for this.
All right.
And I was like, you're not wrong in any of that statement.
No, I'll give you that.
So, yeah. That's what it was.
That doesn't sound as bad as what the guy was trying to explain to me.
Yeah, some people don't need to be talking about wrestling.
No, that's very true. And we got football, obviously, to get into. I want to open up with last week... Right after our show, big news broke, and then the next day, even more news about it came out. Over the summer, we talked about the Maryland head football coach and the Maryland situation with the young man dying because of heat exhaustion and all that stuff. They decided to bring him back last Tuesday. He held a practice, which, by the way, at the practice, it got so out of control that a punter got beat up, which I'm pretty sure the punter was supporting the coach and the players weren't in support of the coach. So then the punter ended up getting beat up in the locker room. To the point where he broke his arm and he couldn't play in the game the weekend after. And, like, that's how dysfunctional this was. And then the next day they fired the coach because of the media backlash and the public backlash instead of firing the coach because he should probably take some responsibility for the kid dying, considering they practice outside, and we've already had this discussion about how they have an indoor facility and there's just ways to go about this. And I will always say, if you feel like you need to practice outside in July or August, one day, and that's going to help you in November, then you are way further from winning football games than you really think you are. So the reason I want to talk about it was because bringing him back was beyond ridiculous. I think we both have made very clear how we felt about this before. We would have just fired him right away. I thought it was crazy that there was even an investigation that lasted as long as it did, and then the fact that they basically said he wasn't to blame, which when you need
you're responsible for his life.
Bam.
You're in control, you're responsible. This was your practice.
So,
the end.
To remove from that, right, because we both agree on that, and I feel like that's kind of where everybody, for the most part, is. To remove from that, to think it was a good idea to bring him back, where in the world did the college think that he was going to be able to go into 17 and 18-year-old kids' houses and explain to their parents why they should come to Maryland? Before the media out, like, I just don't understand what the board of directors and the people who made the decision. Now, I will say the president of the athletic director, one of the two, he actually came out and said that he is resigning at the end of the year. And he also, in the documents, was the only one saying throughout the entire process to the board that they should just fire him. So he's falling on the sword, and he was the only one trying to do the right thing since day one, apparently. It's a total mess. It's beyond ridiculous. And I'll be honest with you, there's colleges like SMU is a good example. Now, you know, you don't know the history of that, but SMU way back in the 70s was really good out of nowhere for about 5 years. Turned out they were paying all their kids millions of dollars to come there. And then they ended up getting their program shut down for 4 years because of it. And now they've just never recovered. I mean, I think they have 3 wins this year, and like their biggest win total has been 6 or 7 since then. Maryland is basically going to be in that position. I don't think there was ever going to be a time now in my lifetime where we say Maryland football is back or it's dominant. Not that it ever was, but they have an Orange Bowl appearance in my lifetime. They've had a couple of 9, 10 win seasons. I don't think we're ever going to see them get like that again. And this situation in and of itself is going to be wild. Like I said, they're not a powerhouse or anything, so it's not like they can come back the way Penn State did. I think that's probably the best example. But Penn State also, as bad as it was, everybody was removed before everything came out. So like Joe Pa got fired basically right away. Everybody else was gone. So by the time, within 3 years, it was an overhaul, and Penn State was already its big entity. It never fell the way that Maryland is definitely going to fall.
I was going to say, they already had an aurora about them.
And they had most of it handled before most of it got public.
Right.
Not the right way, but they handled it in their own way. Different story for a different day. But the Maryland situation, I just wanted to bring that up because it's something that we talked about over the summer. It was something that I found to be a big deal in general, and it broke right after we recorded last week, so we never got to talk about it on the show. The fact of bringing him back, like I said, ridiculous, and then the fact that you brought him back and then fired him. So you brought him back. So now when you fire him because you brought him back and didn't put any responsibility on him, now firing him, you gave him millions of dollars to basically walk scotch-free from this. Instead, you could have fired him with fault, and he would have gotten no money. I feel bad for the players, for the family of that kid, for everybody involved because it was handled horribly, and then it was handled even worse. And there's a death at hand, and like that's the biggest thing. Right? There was a death at hand, and they still have to deal with it because of this. Here we are.
Still got paid.
Yes, almost 6 months later, and the college coach still got paid. The college coach had no blame put on him. It's the whole thing is it's horrible. So, wanted to just bring that up, throw that out there before we jumped into sports because it's something we talk about. It's a big sports event. So before I jump into college basketball and the rest of college football, which I'll talk a little bit about both, we'll do our weekly rundown of last week in the NFL. Not that either of us watched it, but the Thursday night game was... I don't even know who the quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers was, but he is the second coming of Joe Montana.
Just like all 7 other guys that have been playing since Kaepernick, who sucked. Even though he was an underthrow away from being in a Super
before that game, I hear you.
I don't know. Whatever. I don't know.
Before that game,
the guy's an expert.
I was laughing because I thought Colin Kaepernick has to think this is funny that the San Francisco 49ers 3 years later is literally starting a quarterback that none of us have ever heard of.
You know what's really funny? I picked the Raiders. That's the funny thing.
Oh, see? And when we talked about it last week, we were both... I told you I picked the Niners because I just didn't really know anything about the Raiders, and I trust not knowing anything about the Niners more than what I knew about the Raiders.
That was the real funny story. I woke up the next day, I was like, oh, what was the score I saw? I said, some bitch.
So, I'm not going to lie. The only reason I even want to talk about this, and it has nothing to do with that quarterback, because clearly I think we're all in agreement here. That quarterback means nothing.
Yeah, you can sit down.
The Oakland Raiders quit on John Gruden, and they still got 9 years left. Technically, they got more than 9 years. So all I'm really thinking is they're on that trust the process kick hard out there.
It's beyond that.
Yeah, you're right.
It's beyond that.
This is as trust the process as you're going to get in football, though. I mean, I think they are literally...
What are they supposed to do? They can't fire him at this point.
Right, and so here's the other thing. I don't know if I brought it up on the show.
Even saying a trust the process
thing,
like you
no,
really
I meant they're all in on Gruden being the trust. Like he's going to be the centerpiece of this. Look, the Gruden part of this.
I would love to know just what the expectations were when they signed him. What was the general expectations moving forward?
Yeah, see, okay, inside the organization, I'm with you on that.
If it's a 10-year plan, then Jesus.
Like where we were at on it,
expected that
when they signed him,
just gonna suck for 10.
When they signed him, we were like, all right, Khalil Mack, 25 years old, Carr, 24 years old, Cooper, 25 years old.
Thing, but yeah.
Okay, but still, but when they signed him, they thought they had their core, right? All 3 of those players who were, we can all say, their best 3 players, 2 of them are gone, and the other one, as you said, you weren't even sold on, and he looks even worse right now than he ever has before. It's not even a question. So, I'm with you. I would like to know what the expectations were the day they hired him, because right now, clearly, I think the expectations are not next year, but the year after.
Yeah, let's get to Vegas.
Well, yes, but I think that's the year after. But I'm thinking that first year in Vegas, I think they're going after the Alabama quarterback because either them or the Giants are going to continue to tank until they get him. I don't see the Giants.
No, they're not tanking. They just suck.
Well, okay, I'll give you that. But I'm thinking that at this point, neither team's going to try to win many games over the next year and a half because I think they're both looking at Tua Tagovailoa out of Alabama. I really think that's kind of where we're at with this because the Raiders themselves, I'm not sure, and the team itself seems to quit. They also cut Bruce Irving, who is one of their better defensive linemen. Now, I'm not sure what's going on with that. I don't know if he has some injury issues. I don't know if there's something going on. And maybe he just told him he don't want to play for him anymore. I have no idea. And instead of being like Le'Veon Bell in the Steelers, they decided to just, I have no idea.
You mean that guy who came back during the bye week?
Ooh. We're going to talk about Le'Veon Bell, though. We're going to talk about the Steelers, actually, but we'll get to that. So, I have no idea, though, outside of they keep collecting draft picks.
They have a lot of them. What are they, 1-8 now?
Yeah. So they're going to have their own high draft pick, plus they have like 4 other teams' picks over the next 4 years. You know, not just in the first round.
One of them's back, maybe have somewhat of a capable quarterback.
They have Dallas's first round next year. They have Chicago's first round next year. They have their own first round next year, and they think they have another one the year after in the first round from a different team.
We got a couple top 10 picks easily. Yeah.
So, yeah, I figured we both kind of... Now, it took us a little bit. It took us a little bit to get to, especially until the season started. When they traded Mack, we doubled down. I definitely doubled down on the whole. I didn't think the Gruden thing was going to be the best idea in the sense of... I just felt like he was out of touch. And he said in his first press conference, the change of culture, and I always tell you when I hear that right off the bat, I don't think it's going to be a good idea because it's never the best way to start things and blah, 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 blah. And then here we, and then we got into but here we are now, and I did not think it was going to be this bad. I thought they had a little bit of talent, and I did think that John Gruden was better at coaching than this. But if the team quit on him, how do you lose the entire locker room and overhaul it in 2 or 3 years? That's the thing. In 3 years, they'll still have 7 years left on this contract.
He's that much of a genius. He's going to overturn it that much.
And that's my thing. You can't just pick up the whole 53-man roster plus the 20 practice squad players and say, who clearly at least 40 of these 53 men on your active roster don't believe in what you're doing because you're getting destroyed by a guy that we've never even heard of before. Back to the Gruden part of this, though. Terrible. You said about how they can't just fire him because they got 10 more years left on this. I don't know if I've ever brought this up on the show, but the Raiders are one of the only franchises in the NFL that can't pay multiple coaches at one time. Like, a lot of teams can just fire their coach and then, pay that old coach and then pay their new coach the rest of the contract, and just that's usually how they worked it out with coaches. The Raiders don't have enough money to do that because they get no money from Oakland. Like, their money doesn't come until 5 years into his contract because that's when they get the money from Vegas. So they literally almost went broke to get him out, from the non-salary cap money that they have going into players. They almost went broke as a franchise to get the guy they wanted. You couldn't be wrong on that, and here we are, 9 games in, 1-8. So it looks like you might have been wrong. Giving any coach a 10-year contract, not the best idea. Giving any coach outside of football for 10 years a 10-year contract, probably not a good idea. Not being able to pay 2 coaches at one time and committing to a guy like that, total disaster. Again, I do think it was a move from Oakland to Vegas. I think you're on something with that one because he's supposed to be the face. He's supposed to be the excitement. It's Chucky. But if they won 4 games,
hasn't existed in 10 years.
Right, but if they win a combined 4 games this year and next year going into Vegas, how exciting would you be at Vegas? That's just going to turn into basically the Charger Stadium where everyone just goes there for vacation when their team's there. Yeah. By the way, his last 3 years in Tampa, or maybe in Oakland, whatever, his last time he coached, I think it might have been Oakland. Tampa. Yeah. Was it? Okay, his last 3 years.
Head coach of Tampa.
Yeah, he was the head coach of Oakland too. He won the Super Bowl with Oakland. He beat Oakland with Tampa. He got traded from Oakland. Okay, so his last 3 years with Tampa, I think he had to combine 16 wins, and he didn't make the playoffs in any of those years. So it's not like the last 3...
What the hell?
Right, and that's what I'm saying.
So they literally banked on this fucking hype and this aurora about
quarterback whisperer.
No. Well, yeah, but
that's what everyone's called him, though.
Well, I guess he's just like the Houston Rockets, Houston Texans coach then, which, yeah, whatever. But, no, so they banked on what? A character, an aurora about, this mystique that existed for 2 years and fucked around and got him a Super Bowl? Cool. That's what they put 10 years worth of a contract into? an Aurora and watching him sitting in a bus on ESPN talking to quarterbacks. They're like, man, this guy's he's a genius. Is that what they put their 10-year plan into? Because that's what it looked like to me.
And like I said, we both at the beginning of it were like, all right, we didn't dislike.
I disliked the move just because.
But that's what
I was saying. It wasn't look at the Mike Shanahan thing that didn't work and how stupid that was.
And that's why I was saying it's not like we disliked Gruden. It was that we just didn't really think it was going to be the best idea. And here we are.
He was too far removed.
And like I said, before the end of training camp, we both doubled down at that. We were like, nah, this is.
He was too far removed. But now you're telling me his last 3 years, he wasn't shit there either. So I was like, well, then what the hell would they back?
Because I got curious.
Sitting in the bus.
I got curious myself when on Thursday I had a lot of time, so I got curious myself the next morning on Friday when I saw the score myself, and I was like, all right, well, how did Gruden do at the end of this? Because like, what brought them to this decision? And I don't know.
It's Chucky. He went to a Super Bowl once.
Man,
with Warren Sapp and like a great defense.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Which, by the way, Oakland doesn't have anybody now because you got rid of their Warren Sapp.
Yeah, right. You got rid of your best pass rusher.
You got rid of your weapons on defense, so...
Yeah, I don't...
What were you banging on?
Doug Martin's their starting running back at the moment, and like I was just like because Marshawn got hurt, but the more and more that I just keep looking into it, is just they way further than I think they even thought.
Yeah.
So that's it for the Thursday night game. I mean, they blew them out. San Francisco did.
I didn't watch that trash.
Neither did I. I was watching actually the Temple game, and then I flipped to the Flyers game.
I think I had the NBA game on, whatever was playing.
Yeah. Yep. There was an NBA game on, I think.
Yep. I forget who was playing, but yeah.
1 o'clock games, Sunday, Pittsburgh and Baltimore. I picked Baltimore. They lost.
I picked Pittsburgh.
Yeah. They always split every year, so I should have just known, because Baltimore almost dominated them basically in Pittsburgh. What I really want to talk about is it's starting to sound like Harbaugh, the head coach of the Ravens, is on the hot seat.
Why not?
I've believed in Flacco more than you have, but I'm at this exact moment of like...
Well, he's garbage this year, so...
You drafted a rookie quarterback. So Harbaugh saw the end coming for Flacco.
Clearly.
Well, the organization is going to be patient enough with the quarterback, but not the coach who drafted him. Now, I'm not saying he should make the switch and go to Jackson because he sees it in practice every day, and I feel like he would have made the switch and go to Jackson if he feels like he's better than Flacco.
Right.
And every down,
You're also paying Flacco way too much. So
okay.
That's probably a big part of it.
In his contract at the moment, yeah, you're right. He's getting a lot of money. But that ends in 2 years.
It's a long 2 years.
No, it's going to be a long 2 years. I'll give you that. And it's even longer if you're 6 to 8 wins because you're expecting 10. So, like, losing, having 2 or 3 wins, all right, you know where you're at. 6 to 8 wins, you can almost justify keep playing him.
Right.
And that's where you don't want to be as a team in that kind of limbo. Especially in the division where the Steelers, I mean, I don't know how long Big Ben's going to go, but they don't look like they're going to go away, even if he left. We know how that organization is. You got the Bengals and the Browns, so you have your opportunities basically every other year where you could probably be the team to fight. But again, you drafted a quarterback thinking that this is going to be where you're going. As an organization, I wouldn't want to just give up on the coach that drafted him. The other side of it, the Steelers, they look good throughout most of the game. Their defense has been a lot better over the last couple weeks than it was in the beginning of the season where they were just getting torn apart. But Big Ben fell on his shoulder pretty hard. He already has a broken hand. Now, I haven't heard anything about the shoulder, but going forward, that scares me with the Steelers. Not that I thought they were going to beat the big dog in the Patriots, but I thought that they were right there in the realm of underneath. And this might... I don't know where to put them now because if Big Ben isn't going to be healthy... Now, James Conner has stepped in, obviously, and played very well. They have offensive lines killing it. They got AB, and as I said about their defense. But at the end of the day, it's quarterback league. I don't know if going forward the Steelers are really going to be able to continue that, and that kind of opens the door for the Ravens then because they're the closest team too. I mean, the Bengals are too, but the Bengals aren't going to do it. And that's why I'm in the air with this. I don't know about their division. I would say the Steelers still do it.
Yeah, easily. That's
but I'm going to keep my eye on Roethlisberger with the broken hand, and I saw the shoulder. I mean, I saw him fall on it. He looked like he was in a lot of pain. He got tackled. It was a big guy who fell on him, but it wasn't just him.
I would bank on that situation more than the Baltimore situation.
I would too. I'm still going with the Steelers. It leaves me with question marks more in the playoffs, I guess, than anything.
Harbaugh's not going anywhere.
Okay, back to that. I don't think, and that's why I just thought it was weird. Like, don't fire him. You just drafted a new quarterback.
Look, we're gonna get to head coaches that should be fired. So if certain head coaches can stick around, then Jim Harbaugh can stick around.
And I think Harbaugh has deserved enough leash, and I'm not just talking about the Super Bowl. I'm talking about his whole tenure there. I think he's deserved enough leash of, all right, this year isn't working. If it's next year and the year after, all right, I'm going to give you.
So who's saying this? Are Ravens fans or reporters?
No, reporters. I've been reading it from
I don't listen to
your favorite Ian Rappaport and guys like that.
I don't listen to this garbage, so move along. These experts.
Do you think Baltimore's in trouble, though?
In trouble? What do you mean in trouble?
Do you think they have a chance to make the playoffs this year?
No.
Okay, and that kind of trouble then, because their expectation.
To me, it's not trouble because I had the Steelers win the division anyway, and I don't recall it. I have to check back, but I don't think I had him in the playoffs. So
the organization, the Ravens organization, their expectations are definitely playoffs every year. I mean, I don't think there's any way around it. You don't sign Flacco to that kind of deal without.
They don't have the talent to really do that.
Their defense is
good.
Right.
It's supposed to be. Allegedly, 2 weeks ago, it was the number one defense.
And they gave up 31.
Right. Which shouts to me because I was still like, no, and I put the Browns over, or not the Browns, the Bears over in my fantasy league, and that was a genius move because against Carolina, in Carolina, guess who didn't show up? The number one quote-unquote defense who allowed what? It was like 30
31. Yeah, they gave up 31.
In Carolina, like, come on.
They lost like 31-10 or 31.
First of all, I was like, wait, they're the number one ranked defense? That's surprising. And then I saw that game and I was like, no, they are not.
And we talked about it, how I think that has to do with the rules and all this other stuff. I mean, it doesn't matter who you put as the number one defense. I think everyone's going to get torched at some point this year. But the Ravens, I don't know. I also don't think they're the number one overall defense. They might be a good defense. I don't think they're the number one overall defense. But that's what I was saying. Their expectations with the defense that they think they have, signing Flacco to that kind of deal years ago, but having him right now, you're expecting 10 wins at least in a playoff run.
Sure. Well, if you can't get past two of those teams in that division, I don't even want to hear it from you.
In Cincinnati and Pittsburgh are ahead of them.
Right. So relax, Baltimore. Where are you going? Nowhere. And then where are you going to go moving forward? Nowhere. So relax. Pump the brakes. Worry about your quarterback. Don't worry about your head coach right now.
Right. And
worry about the quarterback.
And that's what I'm saying. So if I feel like if there's going to be a haul, and I don't think Joe Flacco's a horrible quarterback or anything, but I think if there's going to be a something to be done, I think you drafted a quarterback in the first round this year. See what he does under the coach that drafted him. At least give yourself that kind of due.
Sure. I don't know this, but concerning the contract, I would assume Baltimore really fucks with Harbaugh, so he's not going anywhere.
I would think so. I would think so as well.
I don't understand where these reports come from. Anything we've ever heard from quote-unquote reporters and reports is that he is...
Not good.
No, was that he's the man out there and they really love him, right?
Them in general, the reporters, not good.
Right. But they fuck with Harbaugh, so...
The other side of this...
Well, I just think he's under the type of situation now. Like, it's
not to try to rain on the Steelers' parade a little more. I don't like how they handled the whole Le'Veon Bell thing this weekend. Mike Tomlin said we need volunteers, not hostages. You do realize, Mike Tomlin, that your franchise is the reason he's not there, right? Like, it's not Le'Veon... Like, Le'Veon Bell said before you could even offer him the franchise tag that he's not going to sign the franchise tag, and then you disrespected him by offering him the franchise tag anyways, and now you're trying to paint him out like he's the bad guy. Like, I'm sorry. He couldn't do anything more than tell you he's not going to do this. So you can't really be mad at him for not doing it after he said, months before you had the opportunity to do it, hey, don't do that because that's not even an option for me. I'm not going to play for you next year. I just don't like how it's been handled by the organization at all. And the whole franchise tenure thing, because everyone keeps saying, well, if Le'Veon Bell doesn't show up, they could still tenure him next year because he has to show up, and then he could be a free agent. If he doesn't show up, he won't be a free agent. If he doesn't show up, he can still get offers from other teams for a lot of money. And the reason the Steelers...
And guess what's going to happen?
The reason the Steelers are trying to franchise tag him is because they didn't want to give him the long-term deal for a lot of money. So they're not going to match the other, like, they have to match it. The franchise tender is if another team offers him a lot of money in X amount of years, you either let him sign that contract or you match the contract and he can't go anywhere. They've made it very clear they're not going to give him that money in the long-term deal. So this is the smartest move for Bell if he wants out of Pittsburgh and he doesn't want to play for the franchise tag. Just don't play the rest of the year. You'll get offered by somebody. I'm just going to say the Bears, but that's obviously somebody's going to offer him 6 years, $30 million or whatever he's looking for, and the Steelers aren't going to match it because it's not smart to give a running back that much money. You're not going to win a lot of Super Bowls that way.
Whatever. Fine. We're just going to leave it at that because I'm not getting into that argument.
Last 14 teams combined to go to the Super Bowl.
Good for them. You still don't let that type of talent walk.
Nobody's been paying a
Great,
third
good for
of
them.
what he's looking for.
So what?
I'm just saying that's
That
clear.
means absolutely nothing.
Clearly,
That's
the formula
clearly
is there
nothing.
to
Good
just
for the formula. You know, look at the numbers, look at the statistics, and what would they bet? What would they be better with?
Le'Veon Bell. And by the way,
Alrighty
as
then.
good as I think
The
James
end.
Conner has
The
played,
end.
and clearly I'm not going to take anything away from James Conner.
The end.
Imagine what Le'Veon Bell's numbers would look like if James Conner's
the last
numbers looked like
47
this.
teams haven't paid the running backs.
I still don't think you're going to win the Super Bowl if you pay Le'Veon Bell all that money.
Whatever.
But I think he's going to get that money somewhere.
You don't win the Super Bowl if the Steelers play. So, if you know what?
Because how are they going to end
I
up
said I
paying?
wasn't going to get on this dumbass.
How are they going to pay everybody else then? And that's the thing.
They already have Big Ben. They already have Antonio. They would have Le'Veon Bell, and they've already been competitive and been this close to getting to a Super Bowl, or if not winning a Super Bowl. What are you talking about? Because it hasn't happened, but they've been close, and you don't let that type of talent walk. This whole don't pay a running back shit, I don't understand this shit. I don't understand this. I think that whole argument is fading away. The Cowboys have proven that. The Giants are proving that. Well, granted, they're garbage, but they're investing into a great running back. They didn't go after any other position.
But what do we say at the end of the day? What is the
Ain't
main
no
goal?
we.
What is the main goal to do? No, what is the main goal for all these teams?
To win a Super Bowl.
Okay, and the last 14 teams to play in the Super Bowl have not even been paying a third of what he's looking for.
So what?
It's a pretty clear-cut formula.
Have the last 13 teams had a Le'Veon Bell talent to offer that kind of money?
No.
Already. Then.
But I don't know. I'm trying to think here.
Already then.
I don't know if I even let any player walk like that.
Alrighty then.
I made it very clear last year I wouldn't pay Bell the money he's looking for. I just also wouldn't paint him out to be the bad guy if he told me he's not going to sign the deal that I offered him. Like, it's just that's.
Don't let that type of talent walk away. Damn the whole, well, nobody wins the Super Bowl. Well, whatever. Don't let that type of talent walk away. You kidding me? You know who would kill for that type of talent? About 30 other teams in the NFL. And guess who's going to pay for that type of talent? About 30 other teams in the NFL.
Well, like I said, I think he's going to end up with like a Miami or a Chicago or a team like that. I don't think he's going to end up with a big time team like the Patriots or.
Why would he?
Because the Patriots don't pay people like that. But not just them. They're in and of their own example. I don't think the Falcons are going to go out there and pay him all that money next year. I don't think the Saints have two good running backs, so that's not a good example.
Nope. The Eagles went out and traded for a good running back and went to the Super Bowl.
But his contract is super team friendly. They would have never have done it.
They're going to re-sign him then?
He got hurt. I would like them to re-sign JJ, but
that's okay.
He's not going to look for near as much money. Signing a running back isn't the problem.
He's going to ask for a lot more money.
Well, then don't sign him. Yes, I'm totally in. I was cool with LeGarrette Blount walking away for the amount of money he was asking for.
Well, LeGarrette Blount's a no anyway.
Okay, so. But my point, he was a big part of the reason the Eagles won the Super Bowl. He's the only player in NFL history to score a touchdown in 3 straight playoff games, and it was all with the Eagles last year.
That's an adorable stat line. Bottom line is you don't let that a Le'Veon Bell talent walk away.
And I was just going to say, everything we're talking about here doesn't mean anything because none of these guys are as good as Le'Veon Bell. Like, Todd Gurley is probably the only good example, and they paid him a lot of money. They have a quarterback on a rookie deal. I don't know how it's going to look in a couple years. I don't know what they're going to do about that. But, hey, if that works for them, then they will be the first team in 8 years to do it, and
so
I was wrong.
3 teams that relied on a running back or banked on a running back.
Who were the other ones?
The Giants.
Okay, Cowboys. I was going to say, I know you're the Cowboys. I was thinking who the other one was. All right. And the Giants, though, do you think they're ever going to be good, though? With Barkley, like, they got to get a quarterback, clearly. I think we're all agreed there. Barkley is a great talent. I'm not going to deny that in any way. That's not where I'm going with that.
But, I mean, if
and they're going to have to pay him that money.
Okay, yeah, and they're going to. And then if you get the foundation around him, why won't they be good?
It's possible. And the Rams are paying Gurley a lot of money, and their offensive line's still playing good. So, I just seems like it's always connecting. Now, halfway through the season, still have another half of the season to go. Not saying I think the Rams are going to fall off. So you think that the Steelers should clearly sign him for the money that he's looking for? Well, just sign him, bring him back, just figure it out type thing.
Yeah. It's not happening.
And
he's not coming back, so.
And like I said, I don't blame the organization themselves for not signing him. It's how they've handled this that I don't like in any way, shape, or form. From the jump.
If Ben's retiring like he claims, so you're going to let him and your star running back walk, or for what?
And then you just got AB. Yeah, we did talk about that last offseason. What are you going to do at the end of this year or the end of next year if Ben
What's
does
the foundation then?
And they don't have
a star wide receiver.
A replacement quarterback.
Your foundation's a star wide receiver. Great. Who's getting him the ball and who's going to open up the field for him?
Yeah.
Not a quarterback and not a running back. Stupid.
The Jets lost to Miami in a really bad football game, so I don't think we have to talk about that.
I don't know why you brought it up.
Because I just go through all the games. Washington, who I picked, couldn't stop Atlanta.
I don't know why in the blue hell you would ever pick Washington, but yeah.
I don't know, because they were playing well. I don't know. They fooled me. Also, two of their only three left, like two of their only three starting linemen left, got hurt for the rest of the season. So now they only have one starting lineman left for the rest of the season.
In that garbage division.
And that was my biggest thing that I was going to talk about with Washington was going forward. I mean, if Alex Smith can't be protected.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, and their defense looked like they couldn't stop anybody. Now, granted, I think Matt Ryan's having a great year. But still, I mean, that Josh Norman thing's looking worse and worse every game at this point. They signed him for a lot of money last year for like 5 or 6. Like we still got 4 more years on this deal or 3 more years on this deal, and it's hard for them to get out of it basically without just sending him somewhere and paying the contract.
It's a solid talent. I don't know what your point was of that.
Because he hasn't been playing well at all. He's been getting absolutely destroyed. He gave up like, in the last 3 weeks, over like 400 yards combined and 5 touchdowns. Like he's just getting absolutely burnt. Now, they went out and got Clinton Dix, and that, clearly 1 weekend. I'm not going to sit here and say that he should have in 4 days learned the whole playbook and been the difference maker. So we will see going forward if the Clinton Dix thing will help the Josh Norman situation. But he's just getting burned out there. Whether he's just on an island or not by himself, I don't know. Because even Marcus Peters from the Rams, who was a good cornerback that everyone talks about getting burned. I think all the cornerbacks are getting burned right now. But focuses in on the top guys, and Norman's getting killed. Carolina destroyed Tampa Bay. Fitzpatrick started, played the whole game. 3 touchdowns. But they still lost like 38-21.
Cool.
Do you think Fitzpatrick is going to like finagle a deal out of this? Like, do you think he's going to like get like a nice little 3-year... Was it with the Bills? Didn't the Bills sign him to like a big 5-year contract a couple years ago because he had like 6 good games? Like, do you think he's gonna like jump into one of those again? He's getting a little older.
We're not gonna fuck around and get Jameis back, so you either gonna draft the
and they're paying Jameis a lot. But I don't think you can go back to him this season at the moment. I mean,
you benched him. It's done. It's over.
Right.
Pretty much you said you're done. You said you're done with him for good. You can't do that.
And that's why I was talking about Fitzpatrick.
Don't do that. No.
It's not somebody I believe in.
It's not worth it. At this point, just start over. Deshaun doesn't want to be there.
I know. He's ready to be out. His
Deshaun
contract
don't
ends
want to
this
be
year.
there. Both your quarterbacks are overrated and not really worth building around, so start over.
The other side of it, Carolina. Cam's playing some of his best football. I would say his MVP year is obviously his best year, but this is the first season that he's had 7 games straight with 2 touchdowns. He's actually had 3 in 5 of those 7 passing touchdowns.
Your Cam Newton stats are nauseating.
His accuracy is way higher this year, and he's still running. Now, he doesn't run as often, but when he does get out of the pocket and run, he's still running real well. This might be the best Cam Newton we've seen so far. My question to you is, if he continues to play this well...
No.
And their defense continues to play pretty well.
No.
You don't think they can beat New Orleans?
No.
I don't either.
Good talk.
Chicago destroyed Buffalo. Kansas City destroyed Cleveland. I know you want to talk Baker Mayfield.
I don't. Fuck Baker Mayfield. I do think it's funny that Chicago destroyed Buffalo, though. I was sitting at a bar. The funny thing was, he was a Bills fan.
Oh.
And I was just laughing because I had the Bears on my defense.
Oh.
And right, I was even...
And Nathan Peterman helped you out this week, then.
Right, at one point...
He was your MVP.
At one point, the Bills fan was like, I mean, that really helps your defense. I was like, I mean, my bad, bro. And he was like, I mean, it is what it is. I was like, yeah.
Kind of knew where we were going with that
I was
one.
like, that's kind of why I started him, because, I mean, they're playing y'all, and all right.
It's a very clear situation.
Remember when they got remember when they were fake offended for like a week because they fucked around and beat Minnesota? Remember that?
Do you remember one of their players, and I don't remember who it was, walking off the field yelling,
like they were
"You
shit.
like that?" Because they were trying to make fun of Kirk Cousins.
Remember that?
Kirk Cousins has 5 more wins than they do this year.
Remember that? Remember when Buffalo was fake offended? Remember that?
So
and they were like, yeah, we out here.
Derek Anderson was their quarterback the week before.
And we were still like, no, you're still garbage.
In the first half, they snapped the ball to LaShawn McCoy the week before against the Patriots. They snapped the ball to him in the first half once every drive in the first half. They did direct snaps to him. That's where they were at. And then this week, they decided to start Nathan Peterman.
Nobody circles.
Did Khalil Mack even play?
No, he did not.
You wouldn't have known.
Yeah, they put up like 29 points in my fantasy team. That's all I cared about. Right.
They had a couple interceptions, a couple fumble recoveries.
I think 3 interceptions.
They only gave
2
up
touchdowns.
They only gave up 3 points.
A fumble recovery.
They only gave up 3 points.
Right. Yeah. I think it was 9, but regardless, yeah, they put up.
Was it? All right. Well, it was all field goals.
Yeah.
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 Not that I thought Buffalo was going to be any good, but man,
God,
is it worse than what you thought it would be though?
I said a couple weeks ago before they won, and I still was like, I mean,
we thought they were going to not win a game all season.
Yeah,
I thought they were.
Right, and I just remember saying, man, this might be one of the worst teams of all time.
It really.
I think I do remember before they won, I was like, they might be worse than that Browns team that.
I think the best way to sum it up, the 0-16
Yeah,
Browns
right,
team.
and I was like, I think they might be even worse
Last
than
year.
that. And they fucked around and won, and I was like, really? But
the week after we were talking
they
garbage.
still might be worse.
I think the best way to sum it up is LaShawn McCoy was out trick-or-treating with his son in Buffalo, and a kid came running by him in a LaShawn McCoy Bills jersey, and he said, "Oh, nice shirt, I love that guy." And the kid didn't even know it was him. And I think that's the best way to sum up where Buffalo is right now. Even their fans don't care. Okay, Detroit, Minnesota. Not that I was on the Detroit train, but I think they are definitely showing everybody who they are. Not only did they trade one of their top wide receivers the week before, the next week they just looked absolute. Now, not that Minnesota's defense isn't good, but they looked garbage against Minnesota this week. I mean, it wasn't good. Stafford was running for his life left and right. Didn't seem like he could get anybody to block, and the couple times that I did see them blocking, it's not like he was throwing the ball super accurate. Minnesota. Now I know they lost to New Orleans. Do you think they can go on the road, beat the Rams, or beat New Orleans in the playoffs when it came down to it?
Maybe, but no. They got a shot against the Saints, but I'd still say no. Rams, absolutely not.
They got a lot of wide receivers, and I think Cousins is a decent quarterback. It's just I can't figure out it seems like they're right on the cusp of being as good as those teams, but they're not. And it's weird.
The defense is taking a step back this year.
It seems like, and they had a good, like I said, they had one good game. It was a good game this week, but overall, I'm with you.
And Cousins is just like,
he's like a better version of Alex Smith.
He's Kirk Cousins.
Right.
He's
like I always say, Alex Smith will win you 8 games if you put him on a bad team, but he's only winning you 10 if you put him on a good team.
He looks so good when they win, and he looks so terrible when they lose.
Yeah. All right. I just couldn't figure it out this week. I was trying to put my finger on it with Minnesota because I'm with you. I don't think they can go on the road, and they're going to have to, especially because they lost to New Orleans, and we both think the Rams will end up ahead of them. So you're looking at you got to go on the road to beat those 2 teams, and I don't know if that's plausible.
Nah.
The way they have played to this point. Now it's only halfway through. They can catch their groove, I guess.
Yeah, I doubt it though.
The Chargers beat the Seahawks in Seattle.
Yes, they did. What are they, like 7-2 or some shit?
Yeah.
I'm guessing. I saw the actual record earlier and I was like, oh shit, I forget what it was. I think it was like 7-2 or something.
Neither have only 2 or 3 losses. They don't have a lot of losses. If Kansas City...
I didn't realize what the record was.
If Kansas City wasn't 8-1, we would all be talking about the Chargers. But Kansas City in their division is 8-1.
Right.
The Chargers, though, I said before the year I thought their defense was going to be good. We all know how I feel about Phillip Rivers. But I think they have a lot of...
Yeah, you love him, right.
I think they have a lot of weapons, like wide receivers, and obviously Melvin Gordon's pretty good. Their offensive line has been playing awesome. Now, it's not the Seahawks' defense of old, but they got it done in Seattle. Russ also threw a pretty bad pick 6 with about 4 minutes to go or 3 minutes to go when it was only a 7-point game. So the margin of victory looked a little wider than it probably would have been. But either way, just to go into Seattle and win, that's a game that Seattle usually pulls off, especially Seattle being 7 and they had 6 wins in a row or 5 wins in a row, whatever it was going into that game. Seattle seemed like they were catching their momentum. The Chargers are that team, as you just said, under the radar, but I think it's the team that everyone's going to start talking about here soon. I mean, they keep playing like this, especially now. Kansas City's going to be the one. They're going to obviously have to play Kansas City.
Yeah, I think it do them, which no way this is going to happen.
And we'll see. And they have to play them the regular season, so I'm saying we'll see then. And I'm with you. I don't think they're going to either. As good as their defense is, we all know how we feel about Kansas City's offense. Now,
I think the thing with the Chargers at this point, everybody's just exhausted with them. It's just like every year is like, yeah, they're starting out, I don't know, 11-2.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, they're going to do it this year, then it just doesn't happen.
And that's the thing. I think it was like the last 2 years where they started off like 2-6 and then made the deep runs. But you're right. Every year before that was like the 11-2s, and then they make the falls.
They're just exhausting at this point.
And that's the thing. It's not that I think they can do it in the playoffs. I don't think they could beat Kansas City. I definitely don't think they could beat the Patriots.
No, I know.
So, and you're going to have to run through one of those 2 teams to get to the Super Bowl, if not both.
That's why nobody's talking about them. I'm glad we established this real quick.
The Seahawks, on the other end, losing that game.
The who? The Pete Carroll Russells? The who?
It's not good, man.
No.
And they won like 5 in a row, and I was like, all right, maybe they're back to where they, maybe they're making some moves. They got the Rams, so I'm not saying they would win the division, but maybe they'll get back to. No, I don't.
Carroll Wilsons are done, bro.
I mean, they're looking like an 8-8 Seahawks team, and that's.
It's over. The run's over. I mean, we should have been knowing this, but
right, and it's not that we didn't, but we're at the same time. It's just I don't know. As good as Russell Wilson has played over the last 50 games. They did.
They could get 9-7, but
it's not going to do it though. 9-7 isn't going to, especially in the NFC. You're going to go on the road and get pounded then.
Yeah. No.
It's a big win for the Chargers though. Houston beat Denver by 2, but I know you don't believe in Houston. 6 straight wins for them.
Great.
The thing that I would say that leans to your side is the Cowboys ended up settling for a bunch of long field goals against them. Denver had 2 bad plays in the fourth quarter that could have swung the whole momentum the different way. If I'm not mistaken, were they the team that was over in London and won on the? Or no, that was the Chargers. When they played the Titans, there was something the Titans did late in the game that gave them the game.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that the Texans aren't really good because I think the Texans are pretty decent, but I just, they're not winning convincingly.
You said about 3 different things, so which is it?
They're not winning convincingly, so I'm not saying their record is, I think they'll win the AFC South, but I don't know if I don't think they're a contender. Let me put it to you that way.
South?
The Colts are the only real threat to them.
Colts, Jags, Titans.
That's
not a statement.
And look.
So fine.
No, that's what I'm saying though, is that like.
Cool.
But 6 straight in a row in the NFL is.
That's what's up.
It's how they did it that is kind of where I'm like, you might be on the right side of the fence thinking that,
Yeah. I mean, getting another wideout opposite Hopkins. I mean, that's
right. They had one, got hurt, but yeah, going out and getting Thomas is a big thing.
Right. That's a move and it's a solid addition. But
I'll give you that.
I still don't. I need to see more. Yeah, you won 6 straight. That's great, but I still don't buy into that.
J.J. Watt has like 5 or 6 sacks, though. He's looked pretty good. J.J. Watt. I think he's looked pretty good this year.
Oh.
and Clowney has, those two. But again, the rest of their defense is still. Tyrann Mathieu's good, but the rest of their defense is question marks. And again, we're comparing them to Kansas City and New England at the end of the day, and you're not going on the road and beating them.
They're not on that juggernaut level.
And that kind of seems like where I know that seems to be the theme right now, where we just look at every team and we're like, nah.
But you're not this team.
Yeah, but you're not right, and that's kind of where it's at. But that's
we're at the NFL.
That's where we're at in the NFL right now. Where it's if you're not those teams, you're really not it. Then
we got 7 more games left in the season. Yeah. If you're not there, you ain't there.
This is the time.
We are now in November. If you want to show who you really are,
and we all know November football is where you learn.
Mm-hmm. So, there we go.
I picked the Rams last week to beat New Orleans, but I think we talked about this at length last week where we...
Yep, so I chuckled when they lost.
We knew there was a decent chance of Breeze at home.
And I was like, damn it, why the hell didn't I just take it?
That he will beat anybody.
I was so mad I didn't take it. When I saw the result, I chuckled and I was like, why did you just fucking take it? Like you knew. You even said, I won't be surprised. Because you knew.
Right.
You fucking knew.
No one was surprised. Now, obviously, a one-loss team.
I don't know. It seemed like people were surprised.
That's weird to me because we talked about it last week.
It seemed like more people were talking about the Rams losing than New Orleans winning.
Right, I'll give you that. Okay, I'll give you that.
Breeze at home. He can figure it out.
You know they're going to figure it out. Yeah, we talked about last week how neither of us would be surprised if New Orleans won because we both think that New Orleans is a good team for the most part.
We just went logically the undefeated team. Duh.
And they played so well that year. Right. But we did say their defense would catch up to them, and 45-plus points against New Orleans. It caught up to them. Right.
Don't go up against Drew Brees in a shootout.
Everybody's freaking out about the cell phone.
What?
They think that it was everyone says he put his team in a bad position. They think it was a selfish move. Did you hear?
Pause. What put him in? Wait, I know what the celebration was. What put the team in a bad position?
So, it happened with 3 minutes to go.
I know what happened. Explain what put him in a bad position.
Well, I don't think it put him in bad, but everyone's saying because of the penalty that you're kicking off the ball off to the Rams and giving them really good field position and was selfish and blah, blah, blah. It came from a player who doesn't do any celebrations, okay? He literally has celebrated 3 times in his entire career.
That's such a reach because 99.7% of the time it does absolutely nothing.
Well, and everyone was like, well, this is the Rams and they have 35 points on you and I'll be honest with you. The frenzy started. The frenzy started because Joe Buck.
This is Twitter at its finest.
Well, the frenzy started because Joe Buck kind of dug in a little bit in the booth right when it happened. Like, oh, I can't believe he would put his team in that position. And then Aikman didn't really back it up, but Aikman was like, yeah, you're going to give the Rams really good field position. I don't know if that's the best thing to do.
Right, and commentators say that every time.
Right, no.
When does it pan out?
I'm not saying that. Ever. No, I wasn't. Because Aikman wasn't like, oh, this is a selfish thing. Right. But then Joe Buck kind of went in after the commercial break. And then you're right, Twitter just ablazed with either you agree with Joe Buck or you don't.
Whatever. That's not worth me. Whatever.
I mean, I love the celebration, and I didn't think it was that big of a deal that he gave them the ball a little out because there was only 3 minutes to go and they needed to give up 10. They were winning by 10 points.
That was cool, the celebration, because, at least it was one of these corny, choreographed, fake dancing, fake.
And we both get down with Joe Horn with the cell phone.
Right, and that's cool. I'm cool with those type of celebrations.
I thought it was funny.
These choreographed, most of these choreographed damn duck goose damn celebrations are literally duck goose dumbass celebrations. They suck. These celebrations are trash.
Yeah.
These players wanted this freedom. They got it, and they've done nothing with it.
There's been a couple that I thought were great, and then it's just kind of been like, for the most part outside of that. I'm with you that he did something, and people were like, oh, you brought a prop in, you hurt your team, you got a penalty, blah, 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 blah.
Relax. Sensitive 2018.
Here's what I kept trying to say back to everybody, though. You do realize that just because the Rams might have scored a touchdown and made it a 3-point game again, you were giving Drew Brees the football back. And he had 45 points. I think he knows how to score on the other team, too. So, you're not giving him enough credit in return to... He's trusting his team. He knows they're going to be all right. He knows if he's got to go back on the field, if Michael Thomas got to go back on the field and catch a touchdown pass, he's going to go do it. I just thought it was ridiculous.
Some armchair quarterback shit.
And I'm glad that you do, too. I kind of figured you thought it was ridiculous as well.
Ridiculous. I didn't even hear that, but that's absolutely ridiculous.
And again, I don't know if it blows up if Joe Buck doesn't kind of go in the way he did, because he went a little. He went in the booth. I'm not gonna lie. He got into it a little bit about it, and he seemed like he was like.
He's tired. He does like 8 games a week. So
he seemed like he was super appalled by it.
He's tired. He does like 8 games a week.
Do you like Joe Buck?
I don't dislike him the way the world seems to hate him.
The world doesn't like him.
I don't love him, but
no, I'm with you. I don't love Joe Buck either. I do know when I hear Joe Buck's voice, it's usually a big game.
I know that.
I'll give you that he busts his ass. I don't like him much as a baseball announcer, but that's because of
I think he's kinda, yeah.
Right. But in football, I mean, I think he's fine,
cool.
and I think he is knowledgeable when it comes to the game itself usually as well. So I don't think he's as bad as everyone gives him credit for too. That's why I was asking you. I don't know.
I can listen more than who's that dude that was on ESPN last year with Gruden?
Oh my god!
I can listen more than that college dude that was there for.
Man,
minutes.
Joe Dunn or Sean Dunna, but I don't even like Tessitore, even though Tessitore is better than Dunn.
No, I don't like him either, and I can deal with Joe Buck. I don't understand. Like
I'm with it. The hate on Joe Buck's really.
It's excessive.
I agree.
Yeah, I think it's excessive. I get it to a point, but I'm like, it's not that bad.
Now, like to the baseball side of it, Joe Buck has admitted in interviews that he doesn't like the sport of baseball. So I don't like the fact that he does the World Series and stuff like that.
Who else is Fox gonna get?
Right, no, I hear you. I don't know. Yeah, we're gonna put A-Rod in the booth. Right. But I would rather than find somebody who's gonna appreciate. Right, it might be. Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Put him in the Eggman role.
That would be pretty. I'd be alright with it. I think that he is good at portraying baseball. I think that he just says some really dumb things and he's A-Rod, so people kill him.
Right. Right. So find another play-by-play guy.
And Joe Buck just doesn't seem to have any excitement when he does do baseball. Right. So that's where.
He also just worked the Sunday.
7 games in a row. You're not. No, you're right. Yeah, he worked 2 World Series games, the Sunday game, and then 2 more World Series games.
Right.
Then Sunday.
Whatever.
The Sunday Night Football game last week was of 2 of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Some people argue that one is the greatest and the other one is the greatest. Now, I don't know why. I think Aaron Rodgers is super talented, one of the best ever. I don't think he's on the Peyton Manning and Tom Brady level.
I disagree, but fine.
Fine, move along. We can have this argument.
No, I wasn't going to have the argument. I was trying to think of the stat.
Of course you were.
Multiple MVPs, multiple MVPs for quarterbacks. Okay, only 4 times has we ever seen them match up. So where both quarterbacks have multiple MVPs.
Okay,
it's only happened 4 times. Tom Brady's 4-0. He was in all of them. He obviously has the much better team. I don't think that game or any one game.
Cricket's terrible.
Right, and so like the next day when I woke up and everybody's like, "Oh, that's why Tom Brady's the GOAT." Like, no,
I saw that too.
And that's what I wanted to bring up with this. I thought Tom Brady was the GOAT before.
I watched half of it, and halfway through I was just like, "Man, this is just terrible." Why? Because Green Bay. I didn't think, well, Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers sucks.
Tom Brady Green Bay tried to give them the game multiple times, and then eventually the Patriots do what the Patriots do. They take advantage of your mistakes. And they won by 2 touchdowns.
And Green Bay's horrible, so.
And Green Bay's not good at all, and they're even worse on the road. Neither of us thought it was like, and that doesn't determine that Tom Brady is the better quarterback. I felt that way before the game. I felt that if you're going to go with the GOAT, then I felt like Tom Brady was before the game even started. It had nothing to do with the outcome of that game because Aaron
Rodgers today.
If we're restarting their careers, I don't know. See, Aaron Rodgers is the more talented. I will,
today.
And I understand.
Today.
Oh yeah, today. I mean, it's not even close. Aaron Rodgers.
That's right.
Tom Brady's got it up here. Don't get me wrong. Tom Brady is still playing at a pretty high caliber. No, Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers was like with the Rams, Jared Goff would be the water boy. I mean, this wouldn't even be close. Like Aaron Rodgers, I'm with you. The most talented quarterback in the league. He has all of it, and he can do anything. He can put a ball wherever you want it. He can't play defense, though. Or make sure that your team doesn't run into the punter. Or things like that. Because that's the way that the Patriots ended up beating the Packers. That's all I really wanted to bring up with that game. Because I just thought it was ridiculous that the next morning it was, this means Tom Brady's the GOAT. Like, no, it
This
didn't.
is why I don't pay attention to Twitter. And that's why I ignore the quote-unquote GOAT and shit in general anymore, because it's just stupid and obnoxious, and most people don't even know what the fuck to talk about. Most people are only like 15 years old making these statements. I'm just like, I can't listen to you anyway.
And then the Monday night game was with the Cowboys. which I kind of figured you would definitely want to get into. Ezekiel Elliott had 100 yards before half. Touched the ball 6 times in the second half. 5 of those 6 times was on a 1st and 10. Think we all agree it's coaching?
Yep. Jason Garrett is garbage. Yeah.
Now,
our team is garbage.
As
I've been saying.
I found it very interesting. Before the game, I read a stat. They only were giving up 17 points a game as a defense. Like, their defense was playing pretty well all season. Now, obviously, one of those is a shutout, which is a rare thing to do in the NFL now. But either way, I mean, 17 points a game, I don't care how you put it, is it halfway through the NFL season this year with the way the rules are, and how nobody was even talking about the Cowboys' defense before the season and still isn't. I thought it was super impressive. Were they? I found it to be...
Because I was saying on here a couple weeks ago, I was saying, I don't understand why everybody's on this Cowboys defense. I don't think we're that good. And we're not.
Well, and that's the thing. I think it's crazy that that stat might be misleading because it's weird that
we can get to the quarterback, and we did on this game. We can get to him, and we can force fumbles.
I was gonna say they got the ball too.
We got like 3 or 4 dudes on that defensive line linebackers that solid.
The secondary
great. It's our secondary is garbage, and that's been the misleading thing about this.
And people are giving Mariota all the credit in the world, and don't get me wrong.
Well, fuck Marcus Mariota.
Don't get me wrong.
Stop it.
He played a great second half, but I'm with you. It's the secondary that is why he looked as good as he did. I don't think that. I think that's a little bit of in between. I don't think Mariota had a nice night, this nice second half, but. They were like, oh, throwing into triple coverage, and I'm like, wow, the defenders just aren't playing well. I mean, that. Anyways, I want to go because we both agree. All right, you think they should fire Jason Garrett?
Yeah, it's the thing is like some of these Cowboys fans were saying that it's Dak, which I'm like,
let's that's what I was just about to get into.
Like timeout. Let's start with that 8-8 head coach that's been there for the past 8 years. Let's talk about that. Let's talk, Dak made some shitty-ass throws, and that's probably one of, if not the worst games he's had.
That was probably his worst game in the last 20 games, and he hasn't had a great last 20 games. His first season was really good. It was since then he hasn't had a great. I'm not saying it's been bad. It hasn't been great.
The past few games, I've been questioning his decision making, and that exposed itself in prime time this past Monday. It wasn't just Jason Garrett in the play calling. It was a lot of that was his decision making. I made this point like 2 weeks ago. I said, he seemingly looks at his primary option.
And then you run.
No, but he looks at a primary option and he either runs or he just forces that option, coverage. And then there's an interception in the end zone, and that's the play everybody's talking about. That's what he does. He does not.
If you take away that one play, that's what I was going to ask you before we started this. If you take away the one play with the quarterback last night, you take away that one interception. Now, obviously, it's a big deal because if they score the touchdown, it's different. But did he have that bad of a game outside of that one play? I mean, that play was horrible.
Yeah, he had other.
I didn't watch the whole. I stopped watching halftime.
Yeah, he forces shit. The other thing, the funny thing was, because I brought this up, and I love that ESPN's nerdy-ass next-gen stats brought this up. The Cowboys are the worst. The wide receivers are the worst in the league at creating separation. They average 2.2 yards of separation. They are the worst in the league. And I was like, I'm glad somebody put the nerd stats with what I've been saying. It's not just the play calling. It's not just Dak Prescott.
Players aren't getting open.
Right. These wide receivers
other players got to do their jobs as well, yeah.
Mark Cooper got a random, touchdown. Mazel, he got 5 catches for 50-some yards.
I was going to say, outside of the touchdown, which was like a 6-yard touchdown.
And then Allen Hurns got a wide open, great. Outside of those wide open things, these wide receivers aren't getting open.
Back to the decision-making of Dak, I will say that Dak has never really tried to force the ball down the field, but it seems like it's getting shorter and shorter. They only had 3 completions of over 15 yards left.
So then that's the play calling.
Well, no. So and I don't know if they're sending one guy deep and he's just never throwing it to him. But I will say that in the Monday night game, they had 3 plays that he threw over 15 yards, and 2 of them were in the final minute when they were just trying to play catch up. So I'm with you. I don't know. I'm not I wouldn't write Dak off at the moment the way that it seems like a lot of people seem to be doing.
Ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. He deserves, and I heard it today on whatever the hell show I was listening to. But I even thought it beforehand. No, he deserves another year. He does deserve another year. He also deserves another coach. He deserves another play caller.
Because he's not. It's not a Dak thing. If we all agree that's the coach, I will give. I'm with you. If I was a Cowboys fan,
calling the damn plays.
Yeah, the offense coordinator.
He needs Scott Linehan.
Yeah, Linehan. That's what I was gonna say. Linehan
and the head coach.
And I think they both do as well. And I'm with you. I wouldn't get rid of Dak all of a sudden. I would give Dak a year or maybe more with a new quarterback.
No.
Or I mean, with a new coach is what I meant to say. I would give Dak.
Then he'll be in what, year 4? No, give him a year. Give him a year on a new coach. See where he's at. And if he looks like okay, we only up and up, cool, stick with that. If he's still stagnant or even worse, cut it.
And because. The other side of this is...
I don't think Jerry Jones is going to get rid of either one of them.
Well, I'll give you that. All right, yeah. I mean, you're not going to get rid of Jerry Jones.
I'm not going to make a coaching decision in the middle of the season. Okay, that's funny because some weeks back you said Jason Garrett doesn't have to worry about anything. And now all of a sudden you're saying, well, not in the middle of the season. So what, in 3 weeks we're going to be saying, well, peace out? I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
But if you're going to keep backtracking into this corner here, eventually you're going to have to make a decision and pull the trigger. So what you going to do, homie? As Hogan would say, what are you going to do? Because it's about that time.
I don't think
it's beyond. I mean, it's beyond that time.
I'm with you, and I agree, and I think they should.
Like this, you can't lose to a whatever. What would they?
Do you think
you can't lose to a 3-4 whatever the hell team like that prime time at home convincingly. It wasn't even like our defense was letting their wide receivers wide open.
The other side of it is Washington losing all their players, losing the way they did. If you win that Monday night game and then you beat Philadelphia the week after, you put yourself in the position to be the top dog in the NFC and in the NFC East and make a playoff run. I'm not saying, who knows what happens then, but point being is you had a chance to put yourself in great position, and now you are a loss from Philadelphia away to basically saying your seasion's over.
Right. Instead, you lose to a bad team.
Yeah, at home.
Made them look a lot better than what they really are.
And I agree with that.
so instead, now you just look absolutely terrible.
So do you think at the end of the year,
garbage.
do you think that Jerry will get rid of Jason at all?
Yeah.
I
think he. I mean, the word's been out for several weeks that, the pressure's really on him.
Yeah.
Jerry's really... I mean, he hasn't said shit.
No, Jerry won't either.
I'm sticking with him, but...
Nor do I think Jerry should. I think Jerry needs to stay with him, sticking with him until you fire him.
But at this point, I mean, the pressure's beyond...
No, I think they need to fire him.
At this point, this is the worst it's been with Jason Garrett. Like, as far as, as far as a gots-to-go situation, this is by far the worst. I'm not on a Dak shit yet. He deserves another year.
And I'm with you. It's not Dak...
system.
And as you said...
Can he get some fucking weapons?
Right.
I'm glad they have a top 10 pick. Oh, wait.
Even if you have a bad year this year, it doesn't help you. I'm with you on that one. The way it would help everybody else to have one bad year.
It was an abomination of a showing. Terrible. It was just embarrassing. And it even started off shitty. It was the Tennessee fumble, we fumble, and it was just 4 or 5 straight fumbles, and I was just like,
the Cowboys had a chance to basically be up 17 points by the end of the first quarter, and it was only 7-0.
Yeah, ended up down at half.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they were down 14-7 at half, or it was 14-14 or whatever it was. But yeah, you're right, and they had a chance to be up 17-0 before the end of the first quarter.
And then Tennessee fucked around and made adjustments against a bad team, looking like a good team, and it was like Tennessee ain't that good. What the hell? They're not.
I'm with you. They're not. I think they're
not.
Third.
That 500 team is not a world beater, but we sure as hell made them look solid out there. Is Mariota's contract up? Because I feel like we just solidified the fact that he's about to get paid if that's the case.
And back to Dak, the way we were talking before, it's not his fault that they don't run Ezekiel Elliott enough in the second half, and they only ran him on first down in the second half. And there wasn't one play action pass, if I'm not mistaken, that I read. I read the article. I didn't watch the game, as I said, but I read that there was not one play action pass in the second half after Ezekiel Elliott had 100 yards from scrimmage in the first half.
We have the most predictive play calling in the NFL. More often than not, you're guaranteed first down, Ezekiel Elliott run. Yeah. Second down, possibly a Zeke run, or it's going to be a short slant route, which may or might not be completed. And then third down, we're giving it to Zeke, and guess what? Punt.
And if they're just stacking the box of 9 guys, and you're not going to pass the ball at all on first down, then Zeke can't do anything about that. No matter now, granted, we have talked about the offensive line struggles. injuries.
Yeah, offensive line. Let's get there because they were fucking abysmal too.
Yeah.
Dak again running around for his damn life out there, getting hit constantly.
And so of course that one play that we're talking about with the double coverage, but outside of that one play, is it him?
He had a bad fumble, but I mean, again, he wasn't protected. So.
Right.
He did not look good at all. That's one of his worst games, and it's right there, and it's kind of alarming. But
I'm not
ready to throw in the towel yet. My hands on the motherfucker, but I'm not ready to pull it out and chuck it yet.
And clearly, I'm not a Dak Prescott apologist, but I also don't sit here and think the way that everyone's thinking about him right now. I think that his rookie year, I don't know, it was great, but I think
is it the RG3 thing though? Is it just
right? And I think that's the best way to put it. He's not RG3, but
we gotta wait and see.
You gotta give him, I think, at least a different offense coordinator. Yeah, and I think you gotta at least give him different coaching because.
Right, I mean, if these other quarterbacks and shit, if the damn Browns and they can go in and out of the coaches and play callers and shit, like give Dak another opportunity. You can't look that good your rookie year and then just be that bad, in my opinion. There has to be more to it. Or maybe that is the situation.
But if that's the situation, then you find that out with somebody else. But you already knew what you had with Jason Garrett going into this.
Garrett,
but you know what you had with Jason Garrett going into this.
Right.
So firing Jason Garrett isn't really cutting your losses much. I mean, if you fire Jason Garrett and ends up to be a Dak Prescott as much as it was him, that's okay because Jason Garrett, he's not going to win you a Super Bowl. He's going to win you 8 games. He's not going to win you a Super Bowl.
It's time. It's time to cut that. It's time to cut him. See that contract? It's time to just do that with it. It's time for him to go. It's beyond time for him to go. Season's an abomination, and the team's only looking worse.
I agree.
It's only looking worse. They're not even like competitive, respectable, any of that. They're not even looking like a 500 team, which at this point they're not. But they don't even look like they deserve to be. Even if they end up, it's like 500. I'm just be like, you're not really that.
And like you said, losing doesn't help them at the moment because they don't have that first round draft pick.
Glad Amari Cooper got 5 catches for 50 yards and a touchdown. Maybe he got 2.7 yards of separation. Mazel.
Good news for you, the Eagles secondary isn't all that great right now.
I missed 2014. Dez called it.
Speaking of Dez Bryant, I heard he worked out with the Saints this week.
Didn't we say something about that? That was one of the teams.
Yeah, that was definitely
I saw
one of the
that,
teams
and I was like, it's probably not even real because he's been rumored to go everywhere. Then I actually saw it was reported, and I was like, oh shit, it's actually real? Okay.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the teams we talked about.
I chuckled just on that alone. I was like, call that.
The further it got, the more I was like, I wonder if this is like a Dez thing. Like, I was getting a little confused.
It wasn't.
I just getting confused on like, why did it take so long? No, not that he floated the rumors out there. I'm saying why he hasn't been signed yet. Like
I don't know. Part of it's some nonsense.
And yeah, but
because it's at this point it's calmed down, it's toned down, it's just a joke at this point.
Yeah.
There's not really a circus around it. There really isn't.
No, there isn't. But I just meant in general, like.
And now New Orleans is like, what? We're 7-1. Damn. You know what we could use?
Yeah, another wide receiver next to Michael Thomas.
Could use a slot.
Not that they don't have a couple, but he is an upgrade from all the guys behind Michael Thomas. So.
You know what Dak Prescott's sitting there saying? Damn, I could
really use Dez Bryant. Yeah.
Jason Witten, you were there on Monday.
Man,
can you get 2.2 yards of separation?
Not that I
think Jason Witten could tomorrow.
Not that I think Witten doesn't deserve all the praise in the world. He obviously deserves all the praise in the world for what he has done throughout his career. But you brought it up before the season. You didn't like the timing of him leaving.
I was wondering where you're going with that. Okay.
No. Hall of Famer first ballot.
No. His timing was disgusting.
And that's what I'm saying. So the Dez situation, the Witten leaving when he did, we talked about before the year what position would put the Cowboys in, and it seems like everyone...
It handicapped us.
Yeah.
It handicapped Jerry Jones into putting a first rounder in Amari fucking Cooper.
There you go.
That's exactly what happened. So I guess I should thank... Well, I was going to thank Jason Witten, but I guess I should thank Dez because he started. Well, at that point, I would have to thank...
The GM.
Right. Thanks, Jerry. You forced Dez to fucking bounce, which caused Jason Witten to retire.
Be like, yo, bro, they're just going to triple cover me, and I'm too old for this.
Which caused your monkey ass to get Amari Cooper for a first rounder. For 5 catches and 50 yards. And the crowd will go, Coop. Like, it will knock it the fuck off. That shit irritated.
There was a lot of excitement around him, and
you know what my reaction was? I was like, that's some Philly nonsense. That's some Philly hype and hysteria. That's exactly my reaction. I was just like, I literally was like, knock it off.
There was a ton of hype around that, and I
was texting you during that. They showed somebody.
I know, you were laughing very hard.
There was a jabroni standing up clapping with a Cooper jersey on. I was like, who bought that already? Some punk ass white kid was standing up clapping with it.
I was
like,
19. He had the jersey. Like I'm with you. I thought it was.
I was like, are you from Inglewood? Is this your thing? Like,
how is he your favorite player?
How do you have this jersey already? How is it on sale?
Why don't you have a Dak or a Zeke jersey instead? To be honest with you, or a Jason Witten one. No, I saw it and I was like, that's really interesting. But you're right.
That was disgusting. That was, like I said, some Philly shit. That was some Philly shit. Yeah. I was really disgusted by that. All of it. Son of a bitch spent, I hope it was one of them cheap jerseys. I was going to say, son of a bitch spent, what, $120 for that?
Yeah.
I hope it was a Mets jersey.
For a player you don't even know. If he's going to be, a long-term Cowboy. Obviously, he's there for 2 or 3 years, but how great is he going to be?
Lord. Cowboys are abomination.
On to college?
What about that abomination?
Well, quickly, college basketball is about to start.
Bro, it started like 8 years ago.
College basketball? Starts this week.
I don't know why I was thinking you said football.
No, we'll get to college football in a second, and that's going to be fast. So is college basketball. The only thing I want to say about college basketball is, clearly everyone's going to say the Blue Bloods, Kentucky, Duke, and all them. Kentucky's the deepest team. Duke, though, the thing I wanted to actually say was, it's R.J. Barrett. Now Zion Williams is the biggest prospect since LeBron is what they call it. He's freakishly athletic. Don't get me wrong.
I'm gonna throw up.
He's not as good as one of his teammates, I think. His team, Barrett from Canada, won the under 17 nationals basically by himself. Like he is off the charts good. I think Zion is freakishly athletic, don't get me wrong, and I love watching Zion Williams play. I think he's more than just a dunker. I think my man can pass really well, and I think he's a great rebounder. But I just think Barrett is the overall better player. I'm going to watch Duke because of that this year. I think those two players are off the charts, but I do think, and I think they'll be number one eventually. Kansas is pretty good, obviously, but like we're talking about the Blue Bloods here, as always at week 1. But Kentucky is the deepest team. Weird, they were the one and done team, and here we are. They're super deep, with a bunch of sophomores and juniors and seniors, and not as many freshmen. It's crazy.
Just give my man a chosen one bike with a pink spray paint on it.
Well, see, the thing that frustrates me with Zion is, as good as I think he is and as athletic as I think he is, there is just all the hype in the world around him because of his athleticism. And
so that's not okay, but the LeBron thing was? Now you understand why I was pissed off about the LeBron thing? But that was okay?
I'm not mad about it.
But
I think we're putting him in a bad position. I think he's going to be a good player.
So it was the same thing with LeBron.
Well, they might have been putting LeBron in a bad position, but LeBron lived up to it.
Okay.
And I'm not saying Zion won't live up to it. What I'm saying is you're putting him...
You can't even say that.
And that's what I'm saying.
Which is why I'm saying it was bad then and it's bad now for this guy. Because you can't put that hype on.
But you blame LeBron, the person or the player, for it. I'm not blaming Zion for the hype. That's not his fault. This is the media's fault.
I blame the year that it went down, and that first season, it was on LeBron. But the hype going into it, no, that was the media's fault.
I mean, that's where we're at with Zion right now.
Okay, so
the hype for Zion,
and that's not okay. Was it okay when they did to LeBron?
I think that Zion is, like I said, a freakishly great talent. And I think he's going to be a really good basketball player. But just the expectations on him are almost unreachable. Because, like I said, I don't even think he's the best freshman on his team. I think Barrett is. That's all I want to say about college basketball. Basically, is just talk about that. I do think Duke is ridiculously stacked. Just again, we're talking about the Blue Bloods. You could throw Nova in there too, obviously, right? Clearly. We'll figure it out in March. College football. all season long, Alabama has been beating not good teams, but they've been beating them by like 60. So it was like, are they good? Are they not good? They're beating everybody that they're supposed to by how they're supposed to. Last weekend they actually played one of the best defenses in the all of NCAA in LSU. They won 29-0. LSU doesn't have much of an offense, which clearly we all know with football, if your offense isn't going to help you out, then your defense can only do so much. But no matter at the end of the, however you want to, Alabama dominated a top 5 football team last weekend, and clearly I'm a Notre Dame fan.
You don't say.
Notre Dame and Clemson are both undefeated. Both of them, I think, are pretty good, and I think have a lot more talent and are closer to Alabama than people think, but I don't think that they would beat Alabama, Clemson or Notre Dame. Now, when it comes to Clemson and Notre Dame, everyone's talking about how Michigan might be as good, if not better. Now, Notre Dame beat Michigan head-to-head, and they have one team that they both played, and Notre Dame beat that team last weekend by 10 in a bad. Notre Dame did not play their best football game, and Michigan only beat that team by 3. But yet I'm still hearing everyone say that they think Michigan's better than Notre Dame, and they might even be better than Clemson, which I think is beyond ridiculous because, well, they played head-to-head, so why are we even playing the games if you're just going to say that they should be ranked ahead of Notre Dame and Clemson? Clemson is doing their job by like beating the bad teams by 30 and 40 points as well. Like they're trying to look like Alabama when they do that. It's just you can't look like Alabama because you're not. Alabama's second team might be as good as everyone's first team. They're just obviously running off their own dynasty. I could run off all the stats of how many times like no team has ever been number 1 over a 10-year span for more than 33% of the time, and they've been number 1 for 57% of the time since 2008. So like we have never seen something like this Alabama program under Nick Saban before in the history of college football. And this might be their best team ever. So we could expand the playoffs to 8. We could expand the playoffs to 16. But I don't think anybody would disagree right now that Alabama's going to roll through everybody. You could give them 10 playoff games or you can give them 2. They're going to probably win the national championship. They are that good. So all this nonsense about Michigan might be better than Notre Dame or, Clemson and all this other, none of it will matter at the end of the year if Alabama does just roll everybody like this.
I'm glad you call it nonsense.
Well, because I think it should be Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, and then you can argue Michigan, Georgia, West Virginia.
I just love how every year everybody wants to argue this poll shit, and we're just like, well, we know who's going to fucking win. You can almost... You can mark it.
They are the Golden State Warriors before the Golden State Warriors even existed.
And even worse.
No, that's what I'm saying. They are the Golden State Warriors before the Golden State Warriors even existed.
And then you can chalk in whoever every other year.
And don't get me wrong.
To go against that.
Ohio State and those teams always have their runs. Don't get me wrong. Alabama will lose a playoff game here and there over the last couple of years. But there is no question that they took out their starting quarterback last year at halftime in the national championship and won.
That's not interesting to me.
He's really good.
It's crazy to me.
And you hate the hype train. He's going to have all the hype train coming out of college in 2 years. I mean, he's going
to be the next Cleveland Brown.
He's going to have... That's why I think the Giants and the Raiders are trying to go after him. Because I think that, the Giants look at it as...
We all know the Browns do this. Right.
Stop it.
What you mean? We all know this is the Brown cycle.
Look...
We all know this.
If it gets to the point where the Browns are about to drop
after 4 years, he's not going to be in the league.
Tua might as well just say he's not going to play football. Because, you're right. We've seen this before.
I've seen this about 10, 11 times.
And I like him a lot. I think he's a really good quarterback. He's
great.
The knock on Drew Brees is his size. I think he's basically around the same size as Drew Brees, and look at what Drew Brees can do. So I think that, it's not going to hold him back to the big extent that everyone always says. But at the same time, he's a great college quarterback. I don't know if his game will fit the NFL. I will say Patrick Mahomes is kind of showing that style works, but Patrick Mahomes is a little bigger.
Ask me how I feel about Patrick Mahomes a year from now.
Well, I was going to say, we'll see when we get there, because to even talk about...
Patrick Mahomes might not even be this good next year. I'm sorry to break that news to everybody, but, let's just keep, putting these rookies on pedestals. Let's just relax and wait and see. He's a fucking rookie, okay? God damn it. You and that Philadelphia 76ers, well, he's not a rookie because it's his second year. But did he play? No, then he's a fucking rookie. fucking Sixers fan, just like, what's his name, did deserve to be Rookie of the Year.
Well, wait, so you think that Patrick Mahomes is a rookie, but you don't think Ben Simmons deserved to be Rookie of the Year?
Nope.
It's the same concept. Patrick Mahomes actually dressed his whole first year. Ben Simmons didn't.
I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes should have been Rookie of the Year, which was
No.
argument.
Well, that was the argument.
That was
right.
the real argument.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
The real argument was that they shouldn't have been eligible because you're not technically, you are in your second year.
Yeah.
But
that's right.
that you shouldn't be eligible for a Rookie of the Year award because it's technically your second year. But in reality, this is quote unquote your first year.
Right,
Thank you for trying to catch me up, and you almost did, but I got you back.
I got you. Shit. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here for.
It almost worked too.
It almost worked. I almost had you.
I almost did. Some bitch. No.
But to wrap up our college segment, Bama's the best.
Some bitch.
Quickly.
The fuck that part is Mahomes gonna get Rookie of the Year. That's the funny part. You know he's gonna get it too.
Nah, he ain't even eligible.
Why not?
He played a game last year. And he dressed every... You see, the reason Simmons was eligible is because he didn't dress one game. He didn't dress for any games his rookie year. Patrick Mahomes dressed for every game last year and started one game last year.
Oh, man, this is just more and more ass backwards. All right, let's just move on. Let's just...
Quickly with baseball, free agency starts this week. I made it very clear how I want Harper, Machado as a Phillies fan. I'm excited for those sweepstakes to open up, though. And if they don't get either of them... I'll be disappointed, one, for sure. But two, I will hope then that they better just load up everything they have for Mike Trout the year afterwards. Because if you don't get Harper or Machado, and then you end up not getting Trout the year after, as Phillies fans, we got a lot bigger problems on our hands then.
Kuna Matado. You get it?
Yeah, I get it. All right. Kimbrel is one of the best closers ever. He's a free agent this year. I'm excited to see where he goes. Dallas Keuchel, pretty good starting pitcher. I think he's lost a little bit off of his stuff over the last couple of years, but Justin Verlander has proven that you can get it back. He's still going to get a big contract. I'm excited to see where all four of the names I've just mentioned go. And again, as a Phillies fan, I think that they're in the market to go after one or two of those players, and if not offer something to all of them. They're not going to land all four, clearly. But they might get one or two, and I would love to see that. And like I said, and if they don't, Trout's the big fish. Get it? Next year.
Got it.
Do you want to talk about the Lakers before we do our picks, or?
No.
We both think it was dumb that they pretended to say that Luke Walton's on the hot seat.
Yeah, they can relax on that.
Last week I went 8-5 to Dwight.
I went 10-3.
Oh man, you're definitely beating me.
I don't know. Do you know your overall yet?
No, but I will get it. Either way, I do think you're beating me.
You should be at, I just counted it sitting here. It's 120 games.
Yeah, I know. Trust me, I have 120 circled over here. All right, don't worry. I have the number of games that I should be at circled. I'm not going to miss the number of games now.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'd have to look back, but it started off real shitty, but I feel like this is one of my better years.
We both started off a little shaky.
74-4. I'm 30 games above. That's
good.
I know, and I even
last year we ended up around that.
2 or 3 weeks ago, I counted it back, and I was like, "Oh, that's correct." So
wow, nice.
I don't get it. I have to look back on the other ones.
Well, this week we got a good Thursday night game.
Yeah, sure.
Carolina at Pittsburgh. I mean,
it's better.
It's more interesting than most of them have been.
It's more interesting than last week.
Well, yeah.
Guess we'll know by what network it's going to be on this week, huh? Is it on Fox or NFL Network?
Oh, definitely Fox.
All right. Oh, shit. I'm fucking around to watch this one.
That ain't even a question.
All right, shit.
Cool. I think Gruden got embarrassed on Fox last week.
That's funny on a couple levels.
The fact that it was even on Fox. Joe Buck and Troy Aikman had to sit through that.
Joe Buck was like, this is why I do baseball.
He's like, these are the reasons why I'm the hardest working man. He got to go win this week, though. I'm taking Carolina, but road teams, short week, and like I said, the reason I'm taking...
Every single week he talks about this damn Thursday night road teams on Thursday night.
And then I take the road team.
No, but then he takes Cam Newton because it's Cam Newton. Pittsburgh.
The other disclaimer I was going to throw out there is because of the Big Ben thing I was talking about earlier. He's looking a little banged up. Not that Big Ben usually doesn't, but... Buffalo taking on the Jets.
God.
Yeah.
I'd rather this be the Thursday night game, so I ain't got to worry about staying up to try to watch it.
Ooh, man.
Then I always got to pretend I watched it. I picked the Jets.
I picked the Jets too, and Sam Darnold's struggling really bad.
Yeah, but the Bills are historically bad.
No, we both picked the Jets. I didn't even bring up Sam Darnold earlier in the show. He is.
He's a rookie. What do you want?
I don't know. Not to look this bad, I guess.
Well, I mean, you know, these damn rookies past couple years have been putting unrealistic expectations on them.
And I'll give you that. And this year we don't have one quarterback, well, Patrick Mahomes, but one rookie doing what they did, though. But still...
It's unrealistic.
Unrealistic,
it's been the norm
yeah.
lately, but I mean...
I'll give you that. Okay. And clearly, they're going to have to do an overhaul of the franchise, and he's going to be one of the only things left over.
Sure.
Moving on, New Orleans going to Cincinnati. Could be a trap game for New Orleans, but I'm not thinking. I think that this is a different New Orleans team than what we're used to seeing. They went on the road and beat Minnesota a couple weeks ago. This isn't just a good at home, bad on the road New Orleans team. And if they are different, then these are the games that they have to win. Cincinnati's one of those. Pretty good, but not that good, but can win at home usually. And like I said...
Cincinnati's been sneaky decent.
Right. And the history of New Orleans is road not that good. But if you're going to be the cream of the crop the way that we feel like New Orleans is, I think that... Yeah, I think that these are the weeks that they can prove it. And in a road game against a good Cincinnati team would be it. I'm going to take New Orleans.
They can mess around and get this, you know, literally just a trap just because they balled out against the Rams and they proved a point. But in saying that, you can't do what you did against the Rams and come home not come home, but go against Cincinnati and stink out the joint.
While we've seen the focus disappear from teams, it's Drew Brees, and I think that he's going to keep everybody in check and keep them understanding that they got something going on here.
I pick the Saints.
But we're both in agreement, though. It's one of those small maybe trap games. Jacksonville taking on Indianapolis. Indianapolis coming off the bye. Jacksonville being Jacksonville. I think that the Colts' offensive line has been much better over the season, but over the last couple games they've built really well. Now clearly their last game was against Oakland, so everybody's offensive line looks good against them lately. But for the most part, I think Indianapolis' offensive line has looked pretty good. And if you keep Andrew Luck upright, I think he's good enough to definitely beat teams like Jacksonville who don't put up a lot of points. So I'm taking the Colts in this one.
I got the non-greatest quarterback in the history of all time.
Andrew Luck.
Not named Andrew Luck. I got Andrew Luck.
Washington taking on Tampa Bay.
Tampa.
I took Tampa as well because of Washington's offensive line right now.
I wanted to take Washington.
I wanted to take Washington too.
Yeah,
but
they're depleted.
Like I said, with the offensive line and the way that their defense hasn't stopped much of anything lately, Tampa, while they don't stop much of anything either, seems to score a lot of points no matter what. Even if they're getting 20+ points in every game. So
this might be one of them. I'm not gonna say the nickname, but this might be one of those Fitzpatricks.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're absolutely not wrong. This might be one of those.
This could
for sure.
Be one of those.
Yeah. Deshaun Jackson going off for a big game or something like that, and they have Mike Evans. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
New England taking on Tennessee. The NFL did not do Tennessee any favors by giving them a short week.
Fakest 500 team. I got the Patriots.
I mean, for sure.
Further. Not like.
I got the Patriots as well.
Fake ass 500 team. That's.
By the way, Tennessee's coach?
Jeff Fisher.
No, it's Mike Vrabel, who used to play for the Patriots. So Belichick and Brady want to go out there and let him know he's not as good as them.
Yeah, Mike Vrabel's a genius all of a sudden. Like, oh my God.
What's he, 10 or 8 games in and he's 4-4?
Yeah, he's exactly 4-4.
Atlanta taking on Cleveland. Hot Atlanta. Literally. That offense is on fire.
Yeah. I'm laughing because I was like, damn, Atlanta at home, or Atlanta on the road, but I was like...
Yeah, but then they're playing Cleveland, right? So that's see?
Laughing, yeah.
Julio might get a second touchdown of the season. I'm taking Atlanta.
I got Julio getting his second touchdown of the season.
He might have a second and third touchdown of the season, if we're being honest. He might have more than Antonio Brown. Ah, that's an inside joke. That's not a shot. We both like Antonio Brown, so.
He's going to have more than does. Oh, he already does.
Ah, one more.
Until he has to face him.
There's,
Fuck.
Now, we talked about a couple of garbage games, but this might be the blowout of the weekend. Kansas City is at home taking on the Arizona Cardinals.
I got the Arizona. Oh, wait, that's not how you say Kansas City Chiefs. I got the Chiefs.
Yeah, I got the Rookie of the Year, Patrick Mahomes, and the Chiefs as well. Detroit taking on Chicago. Khalil Mack most likely back. Chicago's defense is really good.
Yeah.
Detroit not playing well. Games in Chicago. Below 30, below 25. I'm pretty sure the temperature is like really cold this weekend, if I'm not mistaken, in Chicago. I got Chicago.
I got my fantasy team's defense. Because I'm going to appreciate that.
The Chargers taking on Oakland. One going one way, the other going the other.
I got the Chargers.
I got the Chargers as well.
The Vegas are going to fuck around and win it, ain't they?
See, and that... I sat there for a solid 30 seconds because I was like, these are the games that
Phillip
like
Rivers... 15, and I was like...
These are the games that I have gotten my thought of Phillip Rivers from.
I know, that's why I gave it 15 seconds, and I was like, they're going to fuck around and lose this.
And that's why I was like, these are the games that they... And I can't.
John Gruden's going to justify his contract real quick.
I can't. I got it. I think the Chargers are going to win.
I hope so, God.
Miami, on the road, taking on Green Bay. Packers haven't lost at home.
No.
I don't think Miami's a good football team.
They're not.
Not that I think the Packers are either.
They still might be better overall.
I think they're better overall. I can give you that.
They might be.
But
They might be.
But the Packers have Aaron Rodgers.
It's at home.
And the Packers at home.
You can't lose to that team at home.
Yeah.
It's going to be cold.
Yeah.
You can't lose to that team.
Right.
I got the Packers.
I got the Packers as well. Clearly, neither of us, I think, from this reaction would be surprised if Miami won, but I'm with you.
That's because how bad Green Bay is, but Aaron Rodgers, you can't do that.
But it's Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, you can't do that. Everybody else, like McCarthy, I understand.
He finds a way.
Defense, I understand.
He finds a way, and I think he'll find a way.
Against that team, you better find a way.
Seattle taking on the Rams. Up until last week, the best game the Rams have been in was against Seattle. Seattle took them to the brink. But I think the Rams are definitely out for some blood after the way last week went down in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Seattle trending the wrong direction. I know they were doing well, but the last week they did not look good. I'm going to take the Rams in this one.
I'll take the Rams. They should definitely be trying to make a statement this week.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I was at. I think they're out, like I said, for blood. It's...
Can't even be excited about it.
Rivalry. You know what's weird is every year we start off the show talking about how big of a deal this week is, and
every year somebody sucks.
Yeah.
Except y'all ain't any better, so I mean,
well,
you're slightly better.
Right, slightly, and enough to win the East probably at this rate, the way the rest of the East is looking.
We're just so bad. I can't pick us. I had to pick Philly.
I picked Philly as well.
I had to.
The Eagles clearly need to do something to get off on the right foot.
I'm really tired of doing this, by the way.
Yeah, picking Philly.
Yeah, against Dallas.
Yeah, I know. We did it last year, too.
What we did in Dallas against Tennessee.
It's a short week.
That is... I can't imagine.
And the Eagles are coming off a bye week. And so
which meant nothing to Tennessee and Dallas, by the way, but yeah.
Well, all right. The Eagles need obviously something to get off on the right foot going forward. Let's
put it this way.
The time starts now.
We're probably going to lose it, but y'all can't afford to lose it.
Right. Exactly. Okay. That's probably the best way to put it. There's no question.
Right,
yeah.
This is
If the Eagles lose, there's definitely
It says a lot about y'all.
Yeah.
More than us right now.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
God, Philly, gross.
The Monday night game is no better than last week's Thursday night game.
That's even more gross.
I'm assuming you took San Francisco to beat the Giants.
I got Jimmy G sitting on the sidelines being the ultimate cheerleader.
Could you imagine?
what, Barkley puts up like 300 yards and wins.
I guess that's really the only chance they got is something like that happening. Because I got San Francisco.
I got San Francisco because unless that Manning dude, his first name is Peyton, I don't got him.
Do you think they're gonna?
I'll take Archie at this point.
Get to the point that they're gonna sit Eli at all this year?
They have to.
It's not that I think that they have a backup or anything that's gonna win them a bunch of games. It's just you're clearly at a position where Eli isn't the answer.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like they don't have any plans.
You know, it'd be the dream scenario. Put Jason Garrett with the Giants and have him and Eli Manning just ride this we're mediocre garbage shit out until the very end because
It'd be a nice 3-year run for them.
Well, at that point they're just gonna keep Eli forever because Eli's so good and he's Hall of Famer because he has 2 rings. And Jason Garrett, he's a 500. Yeah, damn. Wow, you know what? I'm glad Eli isn't a Cowboy.
Oh yeah, you guys would have a lot of fun.
Holy hell.
You guys would be doing this for years.
Holy hell. That boy would never go away.
You don't think Eli's a Hall of Famer?
No, I don't give a damn what. By default, he's going to be, but no.
I've always looked at the Hall of Fame as the Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Stats. That's why I would put him in it. But if it was a Hall of Stats, there's no way he'd be in
You
it.
say that shit all the time, like he's famous. He ain't.
He got 2 Super Bowl rings, and that's kind of...
Okay, Trent Dilfer has 1. Does he deserve to go in?
There's no quarterback with 2 Super Bowl rings not in the Hall of Fame, and that's kind of where I felt.
That's why I said by default.
Right, that's what I mean. That's where I'm at with it.
That would be the Hall of Stat.
Do I think... Well, but he's famous for the Super Bowl rings.
A stat number.
His actual stats would not hold up to other Hall of Fame quarterbacks outside of the longevity, clearly.
Well, he ain't got no fame.
But his yards per game, his touchdowns per season, and all that is a lot lower than most Hall of Fame quarterbacks are.
His 2 claims to fame is being the younger brother to a better quarterback and
the son.
Well, actually, his 3 claims to fame would be that, and then, okay, damn, he has 4. So the brother, the son, and then the catch like this with Odell, then the catch like this with Tyreek or whatever.
I was gonna say beating, yeah.
So he's got 4,
but
none of which apply to him being good.
Beating David Tyree, that's what his name is. I was trying to think that for a second. Yeah.
He has no claim to fame for
beating
himself.
Brady twice in the Super Bowl. Not that he did it, but beating the Patriots twice in the Super Bowl is.
The only ones that are gonna remember that are Giants fans and bitter Patriots fans who can't get over the other 8 appearances they had. Nobody else is going to remember that.
That's crazy. Brady has 8 Super Bowl appearances.
Is that really a number? I just put on.
Yeah, Brady has 8 Super Bowl appearances. I was talking about this the other day.
It's really gross that I actually said that. I said that. I just said it.
I had a discussion about the Rodgers and Brady thing.
I did not know that.
And I was talking about how, because everyone says that if Rodgers would have went with Belichick, how many Super Bowls would have they won, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, to be fair, Brady played in 3 Super Bowls before Aaron Rodgers was even in college. So it's not really a realistic idea here. That's how good the Patriots have been, and that's not just a Tom Brady thing, clearly. 8 Super Bowl appearances, that is a lot.
I'm just laughing because I love how the Giants conversation always turns into some other shit.
Oh, yeah, there's no especially us two. I mean, clearly, Giants conversation is going to turn into some other shit. There's no question.
Every single time. Wait, no, and every single time it turns into, wait, does he deserve to be home?
Then we just talk about other stuff as well.
Every single time.
Like the Patriots.
We just rename the show the I Hate Eli Manning podcast.
We gotta get like all the Eli faces and put like PTI does with all the heads. We just gotta get a bunch of Eli ones.
I'm in.
Just all of them. We have so many to pick from.
You think we get Eli to sign one?
No. Well, maybe. I think Eli probably thinks it's funny.
I'd be so in on that.
I don't know. I wonder.
I'd actually keep that. That'd be funny as shit.
So I've always gone back and forth. Do you think Eli Manning is playful and finds this stuff funny, or do you think he takes himself way too serious? I kind of think Eli might think this is funny, but the other side of me is
I think Peyton thinks it's funny.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing. It's I think he gets teased enough from Peyton.
I can see Peyton walking in the room with
those
cardboard cutouts saying,
"Hey, Eli." I know we got the same amount of rings, but I never made this face. And then just puts it in front of his face. Or what's the progressive thing he keeps singing? Just sings it underneath it. Nationwide's on your side. That's what it is. He's just saying it with Eli's face in front of him.
Yep. I know what the tune is, but I'm not. I'm
Yeah,
laughing because I can totally see Peyton doing
Peyton's doing it.
It's coming around the corner.
You know what? That should be the new. Hey, we just put the new commercial together for them.
You got it. Eli, dinner's ready.
Every Giants conversation forever will never actually be about the Giants when it comes to us, too. Dwight, I know it's going to be hard, especially if it turns out the way we think, but try to enjoy rivalry week. Until next time, thanks for watching JD Sports.
Peace out.